welcome back to Cityline. With me, I have someone that I think I probably knew in a previous life because when I met her, it was instant love and chemistry. But I have to tell you, I think that everybody who meets her thinks this. She is our own Tacoma Poet Laureate. I'm talking about the phenomenal Abby Murray. Welcome, Abby, to my kitchen.
Thank you. That's your kitchen?
It is my kitchen.
Backdrop for your kitchen. Oh my gosh.
Well, speaking of backdrops, you have exceeded my expectation of how many books one person should have because I can never get rid of my books.
I know, they're treasures. They really have to go with you everywhere. So
They do.
Yeah.
Abby, for people who have not met you before and haven't seen you and I back in the studio all those years ago on the comfy couch, because it feels like that.
Yeah.
What drew you toward poetry as an artistic expression?
I think as a teenager, I think it's a natural draw for when you're in adolescence, learning to know your voice, learning to use your voice. And in that way, I was drawn to it kind of in a very simple, understandable way. I didn't expect to study it as much as I have. I did not think that I would grow up and be a poet. I thought it was something that I kind of did no matter what, but that wouldn't be my main endeavor, and that has definitely become my main endeavor. I feel like I'm able to connect with people through poetry in a way that I haven't been able to necessarily before through other ways. So I can't stop.
You know, Abby, I have lived in Tacoma now for, 27 years. And and as you know, I'm a huge poetry fan. Your poetry, I have to tell you, really, in my heart and in my opinion, encompasses so much of what Tacoma is because of your life and your connection to JBLM, because of the teaching you do. I feel like you are really, if I could rename you, you would be the People's Poet Laureate because there's so much about you that people relate to. But they may not know that your first collection of poems, Hail and Farewell, I love that phrase, won the 2019 Perugia Press Poetry Prize. So I'm going to put you on the spot. Would you share a poem with us from that collection?
I can do that. Let's see just where it takes us. If I just flip this open. Well, I happen to flip open to the poem International Women's Day. So I'm going to go ahead and share that. And look at this beautiful cover.
Oh, I love it.
I also never thought I would have a book with a cover this beautiful. And this statue is on display at St. Mark's or St. John in New York City. It's beautiful. So this poem is called International Women's Day. The world observes my sex on the same day America celebrates the pancake. And who doesn't love a good pancake? There is no such thing as celebrating myself. This is the sound of cards being stacked, the odds lined up against my house like firewood. This year, for International Women's Day, I read the newspaper when I should be warming milk slow on the stove for my daughter, or dressing her in school clothes, or mailing a letter, or skipping the newspaper. Death Valley, it seems, is heavy with wildflowers after a series of unexpected storms. Its basin shimmering with blooms that must be named after racehorses, desert gold, burgundy five-spot, brown-eyed evening primrose, and the silky gravel ghost. This is not a poem. The grass in my backyard does not rejoice in solidarity, its salutations shushed by a south sound wind. We've set aside entire days to remember what we forget and forget what we know. There is no better name for privilege. No party for the fat wallet or the lucky heir, the pale cheek with facial hair. Scientists in Death Valley can't say how long these seeds have waited for rain, but the answer is written in red, longer than a year.
Oh, Abby, that was beautiful. Thank you.
Thank you. I'm really fascinated with all of the international and national days of observance we have. And there are quite a few. It actually is, International Women's Day is on the same day as National Pancake Day.
And I have this theory about pancakes that nothing is good as the first bite of a pancake. And then from that point on, it goes downhill.
Oh, I hadn't thought about that.
About the first bite. So, Abby, you have really embraced your role. You're doing poetry readings in the community. You're doing literary arts. You're doing workshops, and then Abby, Corona hits. Mm-hmm. So, how has the pandemic changed what you're doing in the community?
It's weird because in some ways it's changed everything, and on the other hand, but if you just like turn the glass a little bit, it hasn't changed anything at all. I'm still doing a lot. In April, wearing gloves and masks and all that, I started going into the Beacon Center and offering workshops for youth who are experiencing homelessness. And I've been doing that every Friday. It's like the cherry on top of my week is getting to talk about poems with different people every week. So I've been doing that since April, and that'll run through July. I started a YouTube channel for Grit City Poet Laureate. I'm still editing Collateral, the online literary journal. And I am going to be starting tomorrow a series of workshops on Zoom, but it is for veterans and military families in the South Sound area through Summer Arts Connect. So, wow.
Yeah. Abby, you haven't missed a beat. You really haven't. You still have your finger on the pulse of our city. Can I implore you to share another poem with us?
Yes, I would love to. I wrote this poem when it really has been a struggle with, I only have one child, but it has really been a struggle, keeping her educated and curious. And so I wrote this while struggling with this during the school year. This is called The Poem I Didn't Write. You can have it, but you'll need to imagine the gliding lines and that brain sparkle rind of lemon bite. My kindergartner is riding our German Shepherd into the living room like St. Eligius, and I can hear our cat hurling his disapproval onto the carpet upstairs. I've been wearing one shoe for the past 2 hours and just realized. My husband found me alone in our garage and yelled, "What, are you hiding from us?" And a woman who sounds like me said, "Not anymore." You'd be wise to add a line about wisteria, some fragrance that climbs then hangs, in light of new gardening trends and the reminder that nature was right, is always right, is beyond us, better, a mother to us all. My daughter buried dandelion puffs in our neighbor's yard, and I dug them up on my hands and knees around lunchtime when I used to study. No one came outside to stop me. All I've read this week is math problems written in Spanish, phonics worksheets, and the Mayo Clinic page on dyslexia in kids. If you ask me to check out one more coherent essay on tips for working moms who want to survive patriarchy and quarantine, or research that shows how publications by men have recently increased, I swear to Christ, I will passive aggressively like your post. I will thank you for thinking of me. Please pretend this poem has just been robbed at gunpoint or crushed like the democracy it was. And don't show it bobbing in boxed wine or folding army uniforms next to a stack of 10 tiny pairs of Scooby-Doo underpants. Let it include animals. You have some options. The pigs we kill when they can't be sold, or carnivorous insects who've come to kill. Oh, this is important. Imagine a charm of red finches twirling their breath here and there in the background. I could use some music and should be able to hear it from where you live. I give you this poem like the sack of potatoes it is. I could have raked it from my mind and turned it into thousands of pounds of tater tots, a divine gesture. But like I said, this is the poem I didn't write, and you can have it.
And I will gladly take it. Boy, that was beautiful. You really encompassed and you've covered so many things about sheltering in place. And if there is no typical day and what our coworkers are like inside of our house. As a matter of fact, as you were talking, my dog was throwing up. So, it all works.
Awesome. Awesome.
Abby, what would you like our viewers to take away from your work?
I think, the work that I love most is work that makes me want to write. So if I had a choice to say what people should take away from my work, is I hope it makes them want to write. I hope it makes them stop and want to listen to themselves. I hope it draws their stories out. That's what I would really like.
I think it does that, because your writing touches hearts in a very multifaceted way. When you think about this pandemic and all of its uncertainty, how do you keep writing during this time?
Oh my God, sometimes that's a really good question, because sometimes it feels like it comes naturally. I'm sheltering in place. I'm home. I can write. That's what I do. Other days, it is really, really a struggle. I try and write a poem a week just to kind of keep my finger on my own pulse, because I'm sort of convinced that it might go away if I don't. It's really a struggle. And I think I want other artists to know that if they're struggling, they're not alone. I am definitely struggling to write, to keep things going, but we just keep doing it one step at a time. So, I've often shut myself in my closet, my garage, as mentioned in the poem. In this room, in my office, I shut myself in places and force myself to write, but it's no easy task. So
it's not. Abby, how can our viewers reach you?
They can get in touch with me through a couple of different avenues. My website is abbyeMurray.com, and they can always reach me through the YouTube channel, Grit City Poet Laureate. They can reach me there, or through Collateral. There's lots of different ways to reach me, so reach me.
Abby, you have reached and touched all of us so much with your gifts today. Thank you so very much. And when this is over, I'm coming to your house and I'm going to dive into that library, okay?
Yeah. You are welcome to the library. I will make you some baked goods and it'll be wonderful.
Oh, it's a date. Abby, thank you so very much.
Thank you for having me.
My pleasure. We have much more to come on Cityline. We're going to take a quick break, so don't go away.